As the overwhelming sentiment in the cryptocurrency market switches on a dime from euphorically bullish to irrationally bearish, we're going to take a look at some real on-chain evidence. We're going to take a look at the charts and determine, is this a market top? Are we in danger of testing 5K, 3K, nay, 1K, as I'm seeing Twitter posts and YouTube videos about, or are things still looking pretty good? And as usual, people are largely freaking out. Find out if Bitcoin is still bullish in today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome back to Breaking Bitcoin, your daily source for everything cryptocurrency markets and personal finance. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. We've got a great show for you guys today. A lot to talk about. Again, we're going to be delivering some hopium because, there's been a lot of times. I'm sure, I don't want to say a lot of times. I don't want to plagiarize myself. But there's been times when I have been more bullish or more bearish. Seems logical. If the market has largely been moving up, I'll probably have a bullish sentiment. If the market's been moving down, I'll probably have a bearish sentiment. It's almost like I'm a trend following trader. But in today's episode, I want to really take a look at what's going on in the cryptocurrency markets over the last few days. Obviously, we've been selling off. Today, we have another relatively red day. However, we do see some rebounds. And I kind of want to go over some of the things that I talked about yesterday, look at the charts and get an objective view of what's going on, as well as give you guys an update on how I'm handling the pullback. Spoiler alert. No spoiler alerts. Right into the thing. Before we get started and jumping with today's show, you guys can, of course, hopefully that works. Check us out on the socials. Highly appreciated. We do post some good content over on TradingView as well as in our Discord. Over on Twitter, we're pretty active as well. And if you guys want to support the channel, which I know you do because, I think what we do around here is pretty special. You can do that by subscribing to this channel, hit the notification bell, and smash the like button. If we hit 50 likes before I let a swear word drop on stream, then we will look at link. Yes, special for you. We will look at link. A chart that I'm actually interested in. So we'll probably look at that anyways, but the 50 likes before that would be super awesome. You guys can do it. If you're over on Twitch or DLive, you can support us with a follow or subscription as well. And shout out to everybody watching on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, all two of you. And of course, over on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. I don't have stats for who is watching me on Roku right at the moment, but I do get monthly stats and the numbers are pretty cool. So it's pretty nice to know that. I don't know if some of you guys are like from the YouTube and you're like, we're tired of watching on YouTube. We just want to relax on the couch and watch you on the big screen with the Roku. It's called an HDMI cable, guys. But it'd be nice to know that there are some like non-YouTube, crypto YouTuber people that are discovering us on Roku, which is nice. So it's good to see that mass adoption. And I think we are in that era because there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world right now that enhance the use case of Bitcoin. So as you guys are aware, I'm a technical trader. I focus mostly on the technicals. However, it is impossible to avoid analyzing the facts, collecting fundamental data, and forming in my opinion, a well-informed not turning your ringer off on your phone when you go live, viewpoint about the world. And I think a lot of that for me anyways, and we talk about this a lot in mentoring and I talk about it on the stream. I think a lot of that is perhaps the lifestyle of being beholden to no one, right? I talk about this a lot because I really emphasize the mentality of being a trader, the lifestyle of being a trader, and not like some individuals do, right? You will come across many individuals, especially in the cryptocurrency markets, but particularly in the Forex markets as well, and really in all markets, anything that has to do with money, that will attempt to sell you a fantasy, right? They will attempt to sell you a get-rich-quick scheme. You can see this. Go into any cryptocurrency Telegram channel. Just wait there for a few minutes. Literally anyone. And you will eventually get a unsolicited direct message, right? I'm not sure I know what they call them, direct messages on Discord. Maybe they call them PM. I don't know what they call them on Telegram, but you'll get a private message. And that private message will most likely be advertising or incentivizing you or offering you a chance to buy into something that is going to be so big you have no idea. It's going to blow up. It's going to go 300x. You're going to be rich. You're an idiot if you don't invest in this right now. So, as you guys know, watching this channel, that is a spam message. It is likely a scam, and we're not interested in that project. In fact, if we have time, I want to take a look at, I won't show you guys the message because I think I deleted it, but I did save the link. And there is this, it is amazing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's safe.io. It's S4FE.io. Now, this has got to be the worst like, it's so funny. I have no words. I got it last night. I looked at it. I watched the YouTube video for this amazing cryptocurrency project that's coming up. And I just, like, props to the guy who shot the video, because although it's very low quality, it's hilarious if you watch it all the way to the end. And no project, no no white paper, anonymous, no information, just literally nothing. It's not going to be something that I'm going to invest in because I'm not a fool. Unfortunately, a lot of individuals get swept up in the greed, they get swept up in the euphoria, and they can fall prey to these kind of scams and scandals. So, as we're moving through this bullish market, I just kind of I kind of impart upon you guys, if you've been around for a few cycles, if you were here the last bull cycle, if you perhaps have been the victim of some sort of scam yourself, right? Well, we've all been taken advantage of in one way, shape, or the other, right? Whether it's, whether it was when we were first getting into cryptocurrency, maybe some of you were following fraudulent signal groups, or, kind of chasing Telegram groups around, or listening to crypto Twitter for your investment advice. These are common mistakes that lots of people do because they just don't know where to go for information. And often we don't feel confident in our own opinions. I've talked about this as well before. When you are a trader, you have to have some courage and conviction. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to have the knowledge that, you have put in the work sufficiently to deserve a win, to deserve wins in the market, to deserve asymmetric wins to losses. Now, putting in the work will actually help you have that confidence. Unfortunately, I would say that the grand majority of individuals have not put in that work. But unlike, I think most people would say, well, that's because most people are lazy. I don't think that's really the case. If you educate a person correctly and you motivate them and you get them doing something that they are naturally interested in or actually excited about, they will stay up night and day working on something and grinding it out. So the issue is not laziness. The issue is motivation, and the issue is education. So if you guys, to the older heads who have been around, do your best to be that mentor as we move forward. Be the person, be the change you want to see in the world, right? So if you're in a Discord, if you're in a Telegram, call that stuff out when you see it. Educate newbies. Be a little patient, because you're going to see it hasn't even started yet, guys. We're just starting to see new traders come in. I'm just starting to see a small trickle of retail. It's going to be a flood. And if you guys, and I know how it is, if you guys have been around in crypto for a while, you're like, these newbies, like, they don't know nothing. I'm just going to go talk to my old head friends over here. I get that, but try to be a little patient. Try to educate those who know a little bit less than you. And because the more that you do that, I think overall, the better the space will be. The more bitter, swindled people we have running around, the worse the space will be. So be aware of that stuff. If you're new to the space, be aware. Like, listen, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Telegram, whether you're in Discord, whether you're on YouTube, Twitter, it doesn't matter. There is no such thing as a free lunch. There is no magic way to determine whether a coin is going to pump massively. There is no magic way to send 1 Bitcoin and get 2 back. This is not an easy money machine, right? I've talked about this before. We look at these charts and we see these big movements, okay? And you think to yourself, well, this is easy money. I just got to buy something. Yes, it is that easy, but most people cannot accomplish it, because you have to be able to do a few things once you're in that position. You have to be willing to hold your position open, sit on your hands, avoid noise, avoid greed, avoid FOMO, not jump into something else that's performing a little bit better, be patient. And people have a lot of trouble with that, right? They have trouble with that in life. They have trouble with that in relationships. They have trouble with that at the grocery market. They have trouble with that with their children. And they certainly have trouble with that in the market. So it's not easy to do this. It takes skill, it takes patience, it takes discipline, and it takes education. And that's why I emphasize the community approach so much. That's why I'm so proud of our community, because it is by surrounding those who know more than you, that challenge you and help lift you up, that you are improved as a person, which in turn allows you to contribute back to the community, making everybody better by default. So, all that to say, now, we've got some things I want to talk about today. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Polkadot. I like Polkadot, interesting DeFi project. As we kind of move through this space, as we kind of moved into this, I wasn't, I'm not a DeFi expert, but I've certainly educated myself more and gotten involved more. I've been providing liquidity on Uniswap for about 6 months now. There's been decent returns on that. And as I've educated myself more and done more research, I feel more qualified to speak on topics that I know. So Polkadot's something that we've done a fair bit of research on. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow in a more concentrated segment. Today, I mostly want to concentrate on Bitcoin, where we're at, where we've been, and most likely where we're going. So with that being said, don't forget to smash the likes, guys, and join the Discord if you haven't already. Links in the description below. Let's get into the charts. And if you guys have chart requests or questions, drop them in the live chat. I want to hear them. Let's get over to the charts. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Damian Hughes has been waiting for my yacht YouTube ads. My YouTube ads where I sip champagne on a yacht and teases us with one simple trade setup that'll earn us millions. Yeah, so that will come after 100,000 subs. 100,000 subs, right? Once we reach 100K subs, and which, I could easily accomplish. Listen, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I've been around in this space. I've been doing this crypto YouTube thing for a while, and I know personally almost all the other crypto YouTubers. I wouldn't say I speak to them regularly, but I know them. Some I do. Some I'm pretty cool with. Some I know and I've met. A lot of the crypto YouTubers I've met at conventions. San Francisco Blockchain Week. I met quite a few of the crypto YouTubers. Two of the most popular ones now. And the reality is, and I'm not blaming anybody or accusing anybody of anything, but when cryptocurrency is a very niche audience, and there is maybe a small handful that have built their YouTube channels legitimately. And but the reality is, as a crypto YouTuber, as you guys know, my inbox gets flooded every single day with requests from coins to promote them, requests from ICOs to shill them, requests from exchanges to be affiliates for them, like whatever, just different marketing schemes and campaigns. And that's their hustle. It's cool. It's whatever. They're just doing their job. But I'm not interested, right? There are, and you can ask my team, like I frustrate them because there's projects that they even like. And I'm like, no, I'm not messing with that. Largely because I have other stuff to do. I have a life, and, I would rather focus on my community and promoting my products and services than anybody else's, because I have faith and believe in mine because I've seen them work for people and they work for me. What I will say though is that I also get a ton of requests like, hey, we'll give you 5,000 likes per video, 10,000 views per video. And that's not the right way to build a channel. Maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe that would be the easy thing to do. But, like we've been doing this for 2 years. We only have 10 subs. And one of the most frequent comments we get is like, we cannot believe you don't have more subs. We cannot believe you don't have more views. It is what it is. We're growing slowly. And I've believed this for a long time. What we speak here on this channel, what we talk about, what we believe in is fundamentally true, right? The reason I'm able to speak about some of the topics that I do with the conviction that I do and the clarity that I do is because guys, I can go trade out in the woods by myself with a laptop, totally cool. I do the channel, I do the show because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy you guys. You guys are awesome. We have a great community. I love being in the Discord. I love talking to all of you. I love doing the mentoring. I love posting trade setups. I just love what I do. And if you don't, you can feel that. You can feel that from the person you watch, from the content creator you watch, because there's only a few that I watch, and it's because I need to see the energy, the passion, the vibe. And I don't see that from a lot of the, other crypto YouTubers. There's a couple that I like. I got a lot of respect for the people who come out here and do the content creation hustle. It's not an easy job. Yeah. Anyways, not sure where I was going with that, but this is really hard, man. But I was in, like, before I went to bed last night, I was talking in the premium voice chat with some of the members, and one of the gentlemen was talking about how this, what we talk about in Pathways to Profit, what we talk about in the premium trading group has changed his life, like the way he views reality, his perception of the universe. And that may sound to some of you guys, I get it, like, well, whoa, dude, that's too deep. We're not trying to go there. But it's a simple concept, right? Like, beneath everything, I want you guys to understand that what I advocate on a very deep level is living a life of, I don't want to say radical honesty, because people talk about that as in like, oh, you go to the grocery store and you're like, I don't like you, and you cuss and yell at people. Like, no, you don't have to be ignorant. But you do have to, at some deep level, right, begin removing or begin looking into like what you actually want. What do you want? What do you want on a deep fundamental level? What would you have to do in your life if you knew you were going to die in 3 days? What would you have to accomplish? What would have to happen for you to pass away feeling that you had given everything that you could possibly have, that you had strived for, what you deeply wanted, and that you had tried your hardest to reach a deep level of satisfaction for yourself and those you love? Most people do not live their lives like that. They end up picking something up out of fear. Like, most people are motivated by fear, not love. They will pick up a job, they will pick up a skill, they will pick up a partner, they will pick up children, all because they're afraid, right? They're afraid that they're going to be homeless, or they're going to disappoint their parents, or society's not going to like them, or they're going to go to jail, or whatever. People generally are motivated by fear. And it's not a good way to live. And it is difficult in our modern society, in my opinion, as one who's done it and views the world this way, to take a step back and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, at the end of the day, I am me inside my head. So this is me. I have to figure out what I want. And most people don't know. If you really ask people what they want, they don't know. So figure that out, right? It takes time. I can't answer it for you. You have to figure out what works for you. You have to figure out how to develop a strategy to exist in society so that you can pursue what you want and still function and be useful and valuable and helpful to those you love. I think that's the best way to position yourself, right? And you have to earnestly want that. Like, most people, when they talk to people, are thinking about what they're going to say next. If you think about, I don't know, if you just listen and then focus on how could me and this other person be better after this conversation? That's what we want. That's what I earnestly want. Oh, go listen to some Jordan Peterson, guys. Let's go. Let's get into Bitcoin here. So, are we going to crash to 5K? I don't quite know because I cannot predict the future. I'm not a fortune teller, but I am good at strategy. I am good at market analysis. So what we do see here, I want to be very clear about this from a technical perspective. We'll look at the technicals and then we'll kind of talk about the fundamentals later on in the show, right? Because there's some powerful fundamentals, some things going on in the world that I think, some of you guys might be sleeping on. Or maybe not you guys, but certainly a lot of individuals, right? So, so Bitcoin is just currently ascending, right? Now, we could draw a few different patterns out of this, for example, and we'll kind of look at that when we go to the roadmap chart, as you guys know. But this is just going to be a pathways to profit strategy, a strategy creation process that we teach in our online trading academy. So this is the structure. There are a lot of rules, but we're just going to look at the technicals of this particular system. Now, we are still in a bullish trend. The reason we know that is because for this strategy, we are above the baseline. This baseline is insensitive, meaning that we are not going to trend flip very often. What that translates to is that this PTP structure is a strategy that will not give you as many signals as a system that used more sensitive indicators. For example, many of the guys in the group, I wouldn't say many, not the overwhelming majority, but a good portion, are going to be using baselines like the Hall 60, the EMA 13, the Donchian 26. These are all really good baselines, right? For example, we talked yesterday. Here's an example right here. We'll just flip charts of a Donchian 26 baseline in a different PTP structure. Now, this is still in bullish territory. We're still above the baseline over here, but this is a far more sensitive baseline, right? If you're utilizing, if you're utilizing a baseline hedging strategy, then you're going to be hedging more frequently with this. You're going to be entering trades more frequently with a system like this. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There is no right way, or there's no right way to build a PTP. You can have a sensitive PTP system. For example, there's a member that there's a student that we've mentored that is in the premium group, and I have reviewed his strategy with him over the 19 different cryptocurrency assets that he has decided to trade professionally. And he gets about 12 signals a year. And you might think like, well, that's not enough. But he's been doing this for 6 months now. Yep, he's been live trading, full capital, full risk for 6 months. And listen, like where he gets his money, how he acquired his trading stack, his bankroll, that's up to him, and that's up to a lot of individuals. And that's something we go through in private mentoring, that we go through in the course as well. There's a lot of different routes to get that capital. But it's what to do with it once you have it. You have to invest it wisely, you have to trade it securely, and you have to do it the right way, the way that you develop. We give you the guidelines. And, he gets about 12 signals a year, and the P&L is great. It's based on his bankroll with the risk that he takes and the quantity of signals. it's perfect for him. And guess what he gets to do? He gets to do what he likes to do. He likes to he likes to garden and, like, you know, make, you know, jelly and peppers and like all that stuff. He enjoys doing that. That's time consuming. I know. I garden. I bottle. I pickle. I do it all. And I like doing that. So you do not have to sit in front of the chart more frequently to make more money. In fact, I would say, because some people, there's like a saying that I've heard lately. I've heard it on a few trading channels, that your experience or like your skill is directly related to the amount of time you put into the market. There is truth to that. Like, the more time in the market that you acquire, that you have, you will generally be more experienced, like, just naturally. Like, if you want to be a master of anything, you got to put 10,000 hours into it, right? If you want to be a pro violinist, you got to put, like, 50,000 hours into it, 10,000 hours to be really good. That's true with anything. But it's inversely, I would say it's inversely related generally, like, to the amount of money you make, to the amount of chart watching that you do. You know, we interviewed John Eller's fantastic interview. Make sure to check that out after this video if you haven't watched it. And he says, watching charts all day is like watching paint dry, punctuated by moments of sheer terror. It's watching charts all day will not make you more money. You know, a lot of cryptocurrency traders want to just sit on the 15-minute chart. They're not actually making more money. And then, you know, for example, we could look at a system like this, right? Where I would say on average, this will likely give you 3 to 4, depending on market, you know, depending on where we're at in the market cycle, depending on what's happening, 3 to 4 signals per asset per month, right? So that's, you know, if you're trading, do the math here, guys. If you're getting 3 to 4 signals per month, okay, that's 36 to 48 signals per year, times how many markets are you going to trade? Are you going to trade 20 coins? Times 20? That's how many signals you're getting per year. That's how many trades you're taking, right? Now, pull out your calculator and look at how much money you have over here. How much risk are you going to take per trade? Heck, you could make it simpler. Say you're going to put 5% of your capital into each trade. You know, you have to figure out, do you have the capital to trade a system that is that active? And still, if you're going to hedge, are you going to, you know, have the required 30% of your funds required to hedge on the exchange, right? These are all capital considerations that people need to take into account before they go to start live trading. Because once you're there, I mean, you can listen, nothing's perfect. You're certainly going to slip up and have to adjust. But the more preparation you do before you're in that moment, the more likely you are to succeed, right? If you are, you know, just think about it. Like how many of you guys started off by just diving into the market, throwing, you know, some cash at a coin, and then you're like, I don't know what to do. It's not a good place to be. Whereas if you know what to do, it's just execution. As we say in the group, when you are creating your strategy, ask questions, be creative, try new things, break stuff. But when you're out there trading your strategy, there's no thinking. You're executing. You're a machine. That's how you make money. You grind it out. All right. So on the daily time frame here, Bitcoin is currently trading at about $11,775. We do see the baseline down there at 10,600, which is good. If you guys will recall, all last week, and actually no, pretty much all this week, and on Friday, I talked about, in the event, because we have to be prepared if Bitcoin does reject from here. I don't think that's the scenario right now. I am long with leverage on Bitcoin right now. If we do end up selling off from here and having a more pronounced correction, there are 2 setups that I will be watching for. The first is going to be what we call a reversal within the trend. Now, to identify a reversal within the trend, we're going to need a reversal indicator. So I will be utilizing time transformation. Time transformation is one of our proprietary indicators, and bottom feeder. Those are both proprietary indicators. Premium members have access to those. Those identify market bottoms very well. Time transformation also calls tops, but it does call bottoms better, just being objective about it. And those identify bottoms. Now we have to get that signal while above our baseline, whatever baseline we've chosen to use. That is the setup. So if we should get that, which I think will likely take a while. So let's just look at, let's just look at a common indicator that's not great, like the relative strength index, to get a rough idea of how oversold or overbought Bitcoin is. And as we can see, Bitcoin is not overbought. It is pretty neutral, right? It's in the bullish control zone. It's in bullish territory above 50. Getting below 50 would be in bearish territory. But this is a relatively neutral number for me, right? In fact, for some individuals, like their zone 40 to 60 is neutral, like non-trending. Or excuse me, not really trending, but not overextended. So we're roughly returning to the mean, which, by the way, if we're looking for continuation here, is good, right? It indicates that price has had a little bit of a pullback. You know, we've pulled, but and only with 2 candles, we've pulled back to the median here. So from the median, we can bounce off, reversion to the mean, or continuation. It's a good place to look for continuation. But in the event that we do see buyers kind of step out of the way and sell side pressure increase here, and we do sell off more, the setup that I'd be looking for is a reversal within the trend somewhere around 11,000 to 10,600. Below 10,600, I would have a more bearish sentiment and be looking for a more pronounced retracement. So that's the area that I'm looking to. That's the area that I would be watching for a break to shift my bias, to shift my directional bias from long to short. The other setup that I would be looking for is known as is called a reversal baseline bounce. This is where we actively try to snag wicks, right? We place limit orders in the vicinity of the baseline. So currently, I do have limit orders placed around 10,600 to 10,700 in the event that we actually get a wick, and I will update those every day based on the baselines, based on the updated baseline values as we get new daily closes. Other than that, with Bitcoin, again, my active position is a leveraged long. I am underwater on it. You guys can actually see the amount on, well, not the full amount, but because I am utilizing my main account, but I'm utilizing a challenge account for the World Series of Trading for the Bybit competition. You guys can go check that out at wsot.crackingcryptocurrency.com. You guys can see the full leaderboard. You know, and I do see that a lot of individuals who are trading on our team were leveraged to the long side and have taken a bit of a hit, you know. And by the way, I took this opportunity, you know, I spoke to, I tried to reach out, but again, and again, I don't want to keep hammering it. Jason's been talking about it for a while, but there is an individual who was trading on our team who, it appears, has taken a pretty significant loss in terms of quantity of Bitcoin. And you can see him, he stands out, him or her, they stand out on the leaderboard because most individuals are trading with like 1 or 2 Bitcoin or 0.1 or whatever it may be. And this individual has quite a larger number. So this is not really for you guys. This is for that individual. I'm not sure. I do not know because I know how Bybit works or the competition works. If you withdraw funds, it looks the same way. But you're not going to be able to talk to too many people easily who can talk about that quantity of BTC or monetary value. If you did lose that quantity, if you did not withdraw it, or if it was an accident or a mistake, if you do want to reach out, if you do want to talk, if you do want to sit down, like please reach out to me on Discord. I would be happy to talk to you anytime. We can have a voice chat, a video chat, whatever you like, whether you're a member of our community or not. So you can reach out to me anytime, my friend. Now, beyond that, we'll go look intraday at BTC, but I want to point out what the indicators are doing here. So QQE mod acting as an initiator here, and let's get rid of RSI. So QQE mod acting as an initiator here has not flipped bearish. We do need to see that white line go below the 0 line, the centered oscillator. Hasn't done that yet. QQE mod still bullish. The MACD leader has dipped below the 0 line, right? So the confirmer has flipped bearish, okay? One potentiality here is to go ahead and exit the position. We're going to be seeing what this looks like at daily close, but this certainly would be an exit signal, kind of confirming an L. You know, discretionarily, I'd like to hold on to this position should they fail. And I have a lower time frame position that I've put on, like, I'll talk about that here in just a second. We'll get to it. But the daily swing trade would seem to be would seem to have been a failure. Now, if my sentiment, which is going to remain the same as I told individuals yesterday, and if you guys will recall, and I don't like doing this because the worst crypto YouTubers do this. They start off every video with, "As I predicted, Bitcoin has," and it's the lamest stuff you'll ever hear, right? I know that I'm going to fall prey to that. It is easy to, I don't know. I would like to believe, I hope you guys understand, that, you know, my existence is not only to benefit me. I do this show because I enjoy doing it, and I genuinely want to see people grow and prosper in this environment, and I am genuinely ticked off by scams and fraudulent individuals. But I would like to believe there is a wealth of difference. Hopefully you guys experience it, or maybe you don't, whatever. Maybe I'm just talking out my butt. Anyways, moving on. Let me just talk about what I said. If you guys go back to Monday's video, if you guys go look at the Bitcoin analysis, and I made quite a big deal about it, I talked about Bitcoin dominance. Alex and I have both been talking about Bitcoin dominance quite a lot lately. On Monday, I said, Bitcoin dominance has formed a new swing low. In fact, on Sunday's video, I said this too. If you guys go look at the pre-record I put out on Sunday morning, Bitcoin dominance had formed a new swing low and a bearish trend. Now, because we had formed a new swing low, we saw some bottoming behavior. I felt a resurgence here was likely, right? I said Bitcoin dominance is likely to move up for the next few days, maybe into the middle of the week. So because of that, you're going to see alts drop off. So what you could do is aggressively drop alts right now and buy back at cheaper prices. Now, I didn't know that we were going to have a sell-off. That's what happened, but hey, it makes sense. So the price of Bitcoin went down, but Bitcoin dominance went up because as individuals were getting, unfortunately, it just seems like it happens sometimes. It was one of those moments in the market where too many newbies, too many retail bought pumps, right? And, you know, I kind of want to apologize, you know, if I've been, you know, I don't think I have, but, you know, maybe I was a little, I don't know the word for it. You know, some of my team members have been, I'm a very conservative trader, and some of my team members have been like very bullish, and I'm generally conservative, right? I'm like, yeah, it looks good. Like, let's put a little in, right? You know, because my goal is to do this year after year, day after day, and, you know, decade after decade. And I've been able to do this for a decade. And I've seen most people not be able to keep up with me, just in terms of staying around. And the reason why is because I am conservative, right? I am cautious. I am strategic. I am disciplined. But, you know, when the market is incredibly bullish, right? You know, as we say, I will trade any triangle in a bull market. Any triangle. I will long any triangle breakout in a bull market. And you could say this with just about anything, right? Like, I will take any oscillator indicator. I will take any bullish signal because the statistics are on your side. The probabilities that price is going to go up is likely. So you are generally safer to trade in that direction. But you are going to get those moments, and it seems like the same moment for everybody. When everybody is looking at that chart, looking at Chainlink, looking at those DeFi projects, and they're like, man, you know I shouldn't do this. You know, it's been pumping for days. There's another huge green candle today, and I know I'm likely going to buy a top, but I got to buy. Otherwise, it's just going to keep going, and I'm going to get left behind. And if you guys don't know this, those moments in the market, and I don't know whether this is because we exist in a simulation, or because the matrix is real, or because there's something in the water, or because I drink Coca-Cola, I don't know. But it seems that tends to happen to almost everybody at the same time. It's identical. It's the same phenomenon when you're holding a position open and you don't have a hard stop loss. Let's say you go long and price keeps dropping and you're like, oh, man, okay, it's just a pullback. And then like what Bitcoin just did, like it drops and you're like, okay, let me buy, just a pullback. And then it drops again and you're like, let me buy again. And then it drops again and you're like, okay, I gotta let it go. It hurts too much. And then price moves up. That moment of maximum pain, right? That is when almost everybody lets their position go almost at the same time, and price moves up. Vice versa if you're short. And the same thing happens when you want to buy into something that's pumping, right? It seems like everybody on the sidelines who was like, no, I'm not going to buy that. They must, like, it's like they all pile in at the same time. Like they all just like lose their discipline at the same moment. And you get those big wicks, right? Look at Link. It happened on Link. You know, it blows my mind. I mean, I'm not calling anybody out. It's not that. It's real. Like the shit's real, guys. When, you know, like Link, we've been talking about it. We've been trading it. And then Link pumped for like 4 days, like big green candles. And I didn't expect to, like, I'm looking at that chart. I'm like, okay, like that's something that people shouldn't buy. And no, like Link had done that before. We've seen highs and then pullbacks and highs and pullbacks. And I didn't, you know, see anybody like hit me up like, oh man, like I bought Link at the top, blah, blah, blah. But when Link just hit like almost $20 and then pulled back, I had like a ton of messages. People are like, man, I ended up buying Link. Like for real, like 6, 7, 8 messages that morning. Like, hey, Justin, you know, I bought Link at like $18.50 or close to $19 and it's pulled back now. It's like 17. Like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, wow, like, what are they putting in the water that makes everybody, it's just reality, man. Like this is how the markets work. We all have, you know, we all share the same biology. We all share the same societies. We all share some common genetics. And, you know, we tend to think the same way. You know, humans are far more alike than they are different. And those psychological moments in the market, they're not just happening to you. They're happening to everybody else. And the only difference is, so it's not, listen, I want you to understand that this is important, right? I know that there's going to be some guys watching this like, ah, man, fuck you. You don't know shit. Listen, dude, screw you, bro. You know that you suffer from all of the same inefficiencies that the rest of us mortals do, right? You get FOMO, you have fear, you know, your guts clench sometimes and you're looking at a trade. Like, it happens. The only difference between the retail trader who loses money when that happens and a professional who makes money when that happens is discipline and strategy. There is no other fundamental difference. There is no innate difference between those two people. There is discipline and strategy. And that is what allows you to deal with those moments, because the game, the challenge to making money is not technical, right? Come to the group, join our online trading academy, build a PTP structure. Cool. You now have a technical system. It's not too difficult to build to trade the markets. It will make you money. But the challenge is going to be you. It's going to be you and your mind and your insecurities and your inefficiencies and your weaknesses and your fears and your greed. That is what will lose you money. And that's why most traders fail, because most people can't even hold a girlfriend down or a boyfriend down, because, you know, they don't really teach us in school or anywhere to, you know, deal with our head. You got to learn that on your own. Now, Mr. Ether's like, I sold that baby at 19. I'm a Superman. I feel no fear. Sorry. No greed. All right. Okay, so sorry, we've been looking at this chart for a while. I know I'm just kind of waxing loquaciously. Hopefully you guys like it. It's just a relaxing Wednesday. I'm getting warmed up for the premium member, the community mentoring session we're going to have later on. A 2-hour session with the premium members. Hugo Chill says 20 years with the same wife. Lucky man, dude, for real. So what would I like to see here today for Bitcoin? What would I like to see? Like, what am I looking for? Okay, well, unfortunately, it seems that with the QQE mod system, which is one of 4 PTP systems that I'm running forward right now, Live Trading Capital, this is going to be signaling for an exit. If the MACD leader ends up crossing below the 0 line here. Okay, in that case, what am I going to have to see for a re-entry? I'm going to have to see that reversal within the trend, the reversal baseline bounce, or a regular continuation entry, right? Now, this is just PTP. We'll look at price action here in a minute. So that's all this chart is telling me. No regular exit signal, right? So this is, nope, you know what? Moving on. Next chart. By the way, song of the day. I don't know if you guys listen. I listen to an eclectic. That's the word, eclectic. Look it up if you don't know it. Assortment of music. And song of the day. And again, maybe we'll get some music on here, but I don't want to get it's not demonetized. It's just they will rip audio out. You know, I don't really care about the monetization. It's if I put copyrighted music on, then they will also cut my voice out for that segment of the show. And a lot of people will watch the show back and want to hear the TA because, you know, some people are at work and some people are in Europe and some people, you know, whatever. So, thanks, MH. I appreciate that. Ivan X says, I don't know if you're still doing requests. I am, man. Could I take a look at Wink against any other pair but BTC? Thank you in advance. Yeah, absolutely, man. Jason, throw that on the request list. I'll get to that in just a little bit, my friend. All right, so over here, this is the Donchian system. Not too much to talk about here. Unfortunately, the TSI allowed us to basically enjoy this trend right here. We would have been in the trade right here. Basically traded this section here on Bitcoin. Pretty good game. And because the TSI, well, let's see here. Yeah, I think we had a losing trade here. Not really a losing trade. Yeah, just a sideways trade. And because we would have gotten out right here, but then no re-entry on Bitcoin. So the True Strength Index, which is certainly an insensitive but good trending indicator, is neutral here. So nothing here really here on the Donchian. One good trade, one break even, and then nothing here so far. So I do want to look at the price action chart and roadmap chart, as I kind of call it. You know, the chart where we can draw lines, we can draw the road, we can draw pretty lines and flowers and butterfly patterns. You know, you guys are familiar if you're watching the channel with where we're at with this. The last time we had really predicted something as far as price action went, I had identified this rectangle top, this descending channel, which again, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take this off No, it's there. We talked about it. As I said, I drew that descending channel, and I'm like, you guys know I don't like channels. I don't really like patterns. Oh, there's a few patterns that I like. I trade some patterns. I will trade any triangle in a bull market. But we identified a rectangle top. We did break to the upside, hit the measured move. Really nothing here to do, except I do want to point out that this green box territory that I drew out here for the take profit area, which is a measurement of ATR. This is you guys will have to go back to like 2018, but I've got quite a few videos about how to utilize the ATR for more than stop loss and take profit, as well as measuring trailing stop loss and things like that. You can also use it to determine limit entries if you're trying to scrape bottoms or determine exactly where to enter. In fact, if you're a premium member, you can check out the VPSV strategy. And toward the end of that video, there's a really cool strategy for VPSV and ATR. Really, really good intraday scalping strategy that a lot of the older students still use. So this is kind of the zone. This is the range. This is the liquidity zone of, not really a liquidity zone, but a high volume node where Bitcoin's currently at. Not the highest high volume node, but we're forming it. We have broken to the upside. We formed a higher high. And we're pulling back and currently forming a lower low. Now, we can't really call this, a higher low. We cannot call this a higher low yet, because for something to be a low from a technical perspective, there has to be two closes on either side of it. So you have to have, a candle here that closes higher, has a low, and then this candle, like let's say the current candle, has to form a lower low. And then the next candle, let's say tomorrow's candle, has to form a higher low. So there has to be a higher low, lower low, higher low. That is by definition a swing low. And really, if you go to classic TA standards, it's two candles. So lower low, lower low, lower low, higher low, right? You have to have two candle closes on either side to confirm a swing low or high. That you would say, because certainly you can see a candle has a lower low or a higher low relative to some other candle. But to say like this is a swing low for the purposes of determining what price action market structure is, or taking a trade setup, you need two candle closes. So a bit more aggressive, you use one, and cryptocurrency moves very fast. So one I think is sufficient. So anyways, but let's just assume that we're going to get a higher low tomorrow, meaning tomorrow's going to be a bullish day, which would make today a pretty good day to buy. A nice retest. So a breakout retest of previous resistance turn support. That would have, I would have believed the previous resistance turn support narrative if we would have bounced off with today's candle. But I really don't see, listen, I'm not going to lie. The price is moving down on average over the last 2 days, right? Meaning the current short-term trend is to the downside, right? So we can continue to move down. If we kind of move into that green box territory, then unfortunately, likely we will sweep the bottom. That's what tends to happen. But for right now, I think that we have a good opportunity to get a bounce here. And the lower time frames would suggest that as well. So again, the trend is still bullish. So I will be biased and looking for setups that validate bullish setups. I still think from the perspective of the daily, the swing position should be to the upside. And it's really funny to me how sentiment across the space just flipped on a dime. If you guys will go back just a few days, go look at the videos that kind of came out Monday morning. They are, incredibly bullish, right? We're going to 14K, we're going to 16K, we're going to 20K. And we are, by the way, we are. But everybody's video today is like, Bitcoin to 6K. It's ridiculous, man. These people don't know what the hell they're talking about. I forgot I'm backwards on the screen. I'm not backwards, man. Oh, right. I might be backwards. Is there scratching too hard last night? Sorry, you guys are looking at that. Moving on. You guys probably didn't even notice it. Now you're gonna be watching it for the rest of the video. How do you think it's like living in this skin, man? It's not a picnic, let me tell you. All right, longer term time frame chart. Let's look at this. We are now, unfortunately, so I do want to identify this. We have the weekly time frame here. This chart I posted on TradingView. This is a relatively popular chart on TradingView. This is the weekly time frame, and my previous analysis was that we had entered into an area of a high volume node, that we were experiencing reaccumulation, and that we were going to break out. I posted this chart all the way back here. We did do that. Unfortunately, we have run up to the last horizontal line that I did have on this weekly time frame, and I didn't really, I didn't really point this out because I didn't really consider it a level of import, but it is a level of resistance, and we're going to see what happens here. I don't really have a firm opinion on I don't really have a firm opinion on that level. Okay. It's a measured high volume node. It's a zone of liquidity. It's translated from the lower time frames to the weekly time frame here. It's 11,917. Should be, 12,000 works fine. So for whatever reason, 12,000 is a psychological number. If the weekly does fail to make it above 12,000, like, yes, we can experience a pullback. If you guys want to talk about previous resistance turn support, we could pull back to about the $10,000 area. But I also I would like to be real here for a second. And let's talk about what we objectively see in front of us, okay? It is possible, although I am quite bullish because the trend has been bullish and we've been getting good bullish volume and everything, all the stars are aligned to get Bitcoin to 20,000, goddammit. We're going to get there. But if we stop here, we will have formed another higher low, lower high. Jesus. If we stop here, we will have formed on the macro time frame here another lower high. Okay? Which sets up an interesting macro possibility. As you guys know, if the market is forming higher highs and higher lows, then the structure of the market is bullish. If the market is forming lower lows and lower highs, the structure of the market is bearish. But if there's a combination of those two, right? Let's say we get a higher low but a lower high, right? Well, that's consolidation, right? And vice versa. So what we would have here is a lower high, but a higher low, and then a lower high, which is indicative of consolidation, right? Or as some people have tried to point out, maybe a massive kind of symmetrical triangle forming. I'm not ready for all that. I don't really like that long-term, monthly, weekly analysis type stuff. It's just a lot easier to throw a moving average on and be like, oh, the weekly trend's bullish. Cool, go down to the daily and wait for oversold conditions. Yep. Then we can form another higher low. Yes, we could. Yes. So the previous low that we formed was during the March meltdown, where we did plunge down to 4,000. And although, it seems like every low is different because we can't objectively say well, listen, there was some funny business. Price didn't really want to go that low. As you guys are aware, the low of the market really should have been more properly 5,000. It was only because BitMEX got borked, because BitMEX decided to, I don't know, the BitMEX liquidation engine went on a rampage and BitMEX ceased to be a functioning exchange for about 3 hours that day, right? I was there. And they say it was a bot, whatever. Yeah, Midwest, you make Mr. Ether, you make a really good point that we are about 75% of the way through a massive triangle too. Yes, so if we do want to chart that out, if we were to plot that out, as you guys know, triangles tend to break about 73 to 75% of the way to the apex, right? And we're about there, right? We could measure that out. We could actually draw the number of bars. So perhaps we could get that breakout. I just want to prepare you guys because I don't think that this is going to happen. This is certainly not what I'm planning for, but I am prepared for it. And I want you guys to be too. I'm just going to mention it here. We could sell off from here. Okay. It could happen. Anything can happen. And I want you guys to be prepared. Because there's a difference between the way that I've positioned my life and my assets and my investments where I'm okay, 2 more years until we get 20K. All right. I'll be fine. But I know some of you guys know some people, or maybe you yourselves, might have taken on some unnecessary risk because you need the market to go up. Have you borrowed money to buy cryptocurrency? Have you, from a friend, from a bank, have you sold things to get cryptocurrency? We saw it last bull cycle, people mortgaging their houses and all kinds of things to buy crypto. Do not do that. Be prepared to be patient because you might have to wait. I think that we're going to get it. It seems right. The time is now. The sentiment is ripe. This sell-off is not very impressive to me. But it's a possibility. So just be prepared in the back of your mind. Have a strategy to deal with that if it happens. Okay? By the dip. Gameplay. Thank you, man. Highly appreciate it, my friend. All right, so let's go down and look at the lower time frames. I do think that price looks good for a push to the upside here. I did not add to my long position. I was tempted to. You could ask Jack and Jason when we were doing the pre-show. I was like, then no, because I'm already underwater on a position. I don't like to add to a losing position, and I did add last night. Okay, as I told the premium members. And yeah, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. My alarms were going off because of the Bitcoin sell-off. It's not really a sell-off. It's a pullback. And wanted to post some nice analysis. Got Alex up too, and he posted some good analysis too. So good times. We do listen. I know we don't always do that, primos, but we got you. You know, I know that I know that anybody who was up at that time was likely feeling uncertain or scared or worried, and I just wanted to let you guys know, hey, don't panic. Got a plan. This is what we're doing. Relax. It's all good. So anyways, so what Bitcoin has done here on the hourly is, of course, we pumped to above 12,000, about 12,500. We've sold back down to the higher 11,000s. This isn't too bad. We've come back down to a previous consolidation area that we broke out from, and we're kind of ranging right now, right? We see that we've rejected. Some people are going to look at this as bearish because they will say, well, we broke through support here. That resistance should have turned into support. We broke through, and then we back tested it and rejected. There is a BPC setup there. So if you're a price action trader and you took a short, it's a setup. Yeah, I'm not faulting you. It's not fundamentally what I'm looking for because I am higher time frame bullish, so I want to look for bullish setup. So what I see here is I see almost like a 3-drive setup, right? You could say this one low here. So here's drive 1, drive 2, drive 3. Okay. And then what do you do? Like, I don't know if you guys know a 3-drive setup, but you get 3 drives to the downside and then you form a higher low. If you form a higher low, you buy. That's a bullish setup. So I am positioned to the long side. I want to see a higher high here. I want to see a higher high above 11,900. I'd like to see us back above 12,000. And that's what I like to see. ISIS spot here, which is, again, I know that I haven't released this to the premium members. We've got a few more months of indicator development. As I said, Q3, Q4, we're going to be hardcore indicator developing. Excuse me, Q4. So we've got a ton of indicators and strategies to release toward the end of the year. We do see that CM Williams VIX fix was indicating a potential bottom here. And of course, yes, it indicated one here. And there was a small profit opportunity, but largely if you entered, you didn't get the move that you wanted, right? You would have had to double up here, right? That's the way to do it. Funding is neutral right now. Funding is neutral. It is barely positive, all right? Which indicates that individuals are buying the dip. It's possible they would do drive low from here based on funding, but it's not, like, funding isn't very high. Like, the market is largely like scared. And as we saw right here, the market was trying to get quite short here. And what happened? Price moved up. So on the hourly, I think things do look good. There is decent reason to believe, or at least enough sentiment here to want to take price to the upside. I didn't add to my position though. So again, I'm not recommending that individuals take a long here necessarily, unless you're getting an intraday setup or an intraday scalp type signal. Here on the hourly, I think things look good for a bottom. Because again, we've drove down 3 times. We've kind of swept these previous lows, as you can see. And I said this last night, right? I was looking at where, and luckily we didn't hit it, right? Like, this is, we didn't hit it on Bybit, but I was looking at where the posted stop loss was. And it wasn't like we didn't put it there on reason. It was from ATR. It's what our strategy measured. But last night I was talking to Alex about BTC when we woke up, just so we could provide our analysis. And I looked at where the stop loss was, and it was like 11,610. And I'm like, wow. So right below the lows. So if the lows get swept, so is our stop loss. Like that's the perfect stop loss you want to have going to bed, I utilize 3 commas to set my stop losses on exchanges for 2 reasons, right? I love Bybit, I really do. It's a great exchange, but it's possible, right? It's likely that potentially they trade against customers. All derivative exchanges most likely do, right? I used to have a different opinion on this. In fact, I made a video. I'll probably have to make a different one and update it. I just want to give you guys my opinion as my sentiments has evolved, as I've learned more, right? I always, coming from the Forex world prior, following the equities world into the crypto world, I dealt with a lot of like dealing desk brokers, and, there's a lot of law and regulation against selling order book information, right? Certain order book information. So BitMEX stands, I think, to make a lot more money in the long run by not fleecing their customers and selling order book information, private information that only the exchange would know, to trading desks who would actively utilize that as an edge. But they are. Yeah, they are. I didn't think that they were. I knew that BitMEX was doing shady shit, but I didn't think they were doing that. But they are. Yeah, they are blatantly doing that. BitMEX blatantly has their own trading desk that they fund, and you are foolish if you don't think that they fund, that they provide that information to the trading desk to profit. And listen, as much as I like Bybit, it would be, and again, I have no evidence that they are. I'm just assuming logically that it makes sense. that they do the same thing. And so does every other exchange out there. So you can't get away from it. So what can you do? Well, A, you cannot trade like most novices who lose money, right? Even like with that being the case, people profit trading on BitMEX. I'm a profitable trader. Most of our members are profitable traders. So the way that we trade though is a style that rarely has the stop loss get hit. Like my stop loss almost never gets hit on any trade. It happens, but it's rare because of where I put it. There are other things that I have in my strategy to get me out of a trade if I'm in a losing trade. So what you can do though is you can utilize a third-party platform like 3 Commas that keeps your stop loss off the exchange. But Justin, you say, what if 3 Commas sells your stop loss information to BitMEX? Oh my God! I don't know, man. Listen, you can only prepare yourself. You can only develop a strategy for the things that you can control. Some things you simply can't. So you just trade, for example, on the best exchange that you can possibly find. Spoiler alert, it's probably Bybit if you're trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or EOS. And you trade the best way that you possibly can. And I think we accomplished that because having our stop losses get hit is not a problem. But yeah, simply just like an unnatural stop loss place, like an uncomfortable one. Shapeshift when possible, maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I've never, I'll be honest with you. I have met quite a few people that have worked at, not quite a few people, I say 3, but who have worked at Shapeshift. Shout out to Sarah. And I've never used the platform. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't, I'm not the expert here. Tenacious V says, most clueless crypto YouTubers tell what people want to hear. That's why they are so popular. Yeah, I mean, that's what, no offense, but that's probably what a lot of you wanted to hear today. Like you wanted Justin, like maybe you don't. Maybe you want the truth because that's what I spit. But, maybe some, like deep down, a lot of individuals wanted that confirmation bias. There's a little bit of like awesome. There's a lot of awesome in everybody, but there's also like a good amount of like, man, every human in them has the potential to be really, really amazing and righteous and courageous and brave. But also, people have the absolute capacity in them to be a evil, malevolent, just malicious motherfucker, man. Like evil. It's all in us, man. It just depends on the choices that you make in the strategy and, like what you do with your life. So that like evil part, that's like the dark part of us that kind of like, we like the pain, like it's, so some people, if the market's selling off right now, say they're long on Bitcoin or say they're thinking about their investments or they're thinking about the market and they're like, oh my God, like Justin just looked at that weekly chart. He said we have resistance at 12K and we could go down and form a lower high or a higher low on the weekly. That means like Bitcoin could go to 6K. I just took a mortgage out of my house. Like you have people in that situation, believe it or not. And so some people are scared right now. A lot of people are worried. A lot of people are trepidatious. I would say the right place to be is like cautious, right? And observant. That's the right state of mind to have. Not scared, but cautious and observant. Prepared, ready. To take action, because you have to take action to protect yourself. And if we need to do that, we're going to have to do that, guys. So just be prepared. Be prepared. If things go to crap, have an exit plan. Have a bug out back. I lost my train of thought there. Shoot. Yeah, so sorry. So some people are worried, looking at the chart, afraid, looking at their investments, and they're like, man. So they kind of want, like deep down, some people kind of want somebody to come on the YouTube or on the TV or on the radio and say, we're going down, sell it all down to 6K, and just fear. And you can objectively see this is true by looking at mainstream media. Although we can say like, oh, the numbers have dropped off and YouTube's going to take over like for mainstream, and it is. YouTube and decentralized content is going to kill mainstream media. But it's a drug. Look at how many people look at the entire older generation. They are addicted to that TV. They come home, they sit home at night, they eat TV dinners, they watch the news. And it's nothing but fear, anxiety, worry, death, chaos, terrorism. It's crazy. It is unbelievable. And it's troubling. Like I worry about it, Like I love my grandparents, man. I really, really do. I love my parents. But like both of them at night, if I go over to visit, help out, do whatever, they're watching TV. They're watching Fox News. And listen, I'm not, no political bias here, but I'm just saying like Fox News, CNN, doesn't matter. It's fear one way or the other, right? It's, anyways. Rocky Outcrop says, check me out. I'm checking, bro. T-Dub, Crow on the monthly candle. Looks like it's going to tip over backwards. It's just going to go to the left, man. Ivan X says, do I have an opinion on Binance? I have heard some claims it's shady as well, since they don't have a legitimate headquarters. Look, here's the thing, guys. You kind of got to look at people's track records and what they do. All right. So I've been trading on Binance since Binance launched. I was on the Binance platform the day they launched. And I mean, yeah, like they likely do nefarious things. I mean, look at how they do IEOs. They probably sell pre-sale information, you know, like who knows where they're headquartered at. Maybe they're under the earth. Maybe they're broadcasting from the moon. Is CZ an Android? Like, we don't know these questions. Nobody knows. I'm sure that there is, listen, I'm not sure. It is very likely that in this unregulated market, and the fact that they operate internationally, very loosey-goosey, that they do some illegal shit. Hell yeah. Look at Bitfinex. Like, Bitfinex in hot water with the Attorney General's office of New York. Like, yes, of course they've done some illegal stuff. Have they worked with drug smugglers? Probably, because those are the only people that could get them cash. However, I will say this, right? For all the hate and that's bandied against Bitfinex, I will say this, right? Ask yourselves, like, are they overall, in the bigger picture, supporting something positive, right? Bitfinex has facilitated the transference of Bitcoin to cash to Bitcoin at a time when really nobody else would. And by the way, if you guys even mildly believe in the Bitcoin narrative, all right, so let's go back to square one. Bitcoin, a decentralized currency, a decentralized cryptocurrency, alternative to cash, the dollar killer. Going to make the world a better place. Give us a fairer, safer economy, verifiable, trustless. Do you think central banks and governments want that? Hell no, or they would have built it. We have militaries, we have central governments, command and conquer, command and control, centralized power. They are not interested in giving any of that up. And if you think Binance does shady shit? What do you think the US government does? What do you think Russia does? China, Saudi Arabia. These are institutions that have committed massive atrocities and great good also. Like, I'm not going to say that there's any country out there that's evil that hasn't done good things for their citizens, right? Like, for example, even as an ANCAP, I will obviously acknowledge that the United States government has helped protect me and my daughter, right? The life here is fairly safe in the United States, right? Like, I can pretty much go anywhere. I can, the commerce is cheap. I have a lot of access to stuff. Now, I can argue and sit here and talk about deeper philosophy, but the fact is, they haven't done all bad. Like, there's bad things that they've done. All governments have done bad things. So I would say, like, if you flung open the doors of Bitfinex and you saw, like, yeah, they've been involved in, narcotics trafficking and drug smuggling and blah, 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 this and that, I'd be like, yeah, okay, and that stuff sucks. That's bad. But they've also been a freaking champion for Bitcoin. Like, they stood up and allowed people to buy Bitcoin for cash or move into cash because they needed to buy things to survive at a time when, like, nobody would, right? And all those early adopters did. Like, it takes some freaking courage to run that stuff. And unfortunately, like, look at the people who run, like look at, listen, I love you, man, but, like, just look at Jesse Powell, like, look at Kraken, right? Like, we're talking about computer nerds, we're talking about geeks, and those are my people, but, like, I mean, like, those are people that are ill-equipped to say no to evil people, like cartels or money trap, like drug traffickers or anything like that, right? I know I said drugs like 3 times. There's other evil stuff, like, but I don't know if you guys, like, necessarily agree with me with what I'm saying, but my thoughts are that yes, Binance likely does some shady shit, but Binance is also a legitimate place to trade, like, as legitimate as you're going to get. If you want 100% security, if you want US regulation, if you want to know that your money's safe, then you're going to have to go trade on Binance US. You're going to have to go trade on Coinbase. You're going to have to go trade on Kraken, Gemini, and certainly a lot of people do, right? But if you want to make money, you got to take some risk. All right, let's go. We unregulated out here. Says Bhav Singh Mandavi. All right, good to have you, man. Let's see. Let's answer some more questions. Yeah, I trade on Binance and Bybit, mostly the main platforms that I trade on. Blue Box feels like he should be using Didex. Yeah, maybe. Sean Pond says Fox is horrible. All U.S. news is. Yes, it's pretty bad. Mr. Ether says, and they complain about the amount of time we spend on our phone for sure. One day our kids will do stuff we find scary. Yeah, for sure, man. What are my thoughts on Nano? I love Nano. I think it's a great project. Nano is actually doing good stuff, particularly in South America. It's widely used in South America. People are actively using it. Not as much adoption as we'd like to see, but like for real, like I don't care who, like one of you, like tell me I'm wrong. Like I've seen it. I've seen the pictures. I have friends in that area of the world who use Nano because it is better, more liquid, and safer than their national currency. So Nano's doing some good things right now. For whatever reason, it's just popular. It's a good currency. I hold some Nano. Let's see. Oh, snap! If Twitter is the new news, we are in serious trouble. Don't buy up all the silver yet. No, I did that last year. Iggy Jiggy says, can we look at gold? Yeah, let's look at some precious metals. By the way, are we not in trouble yet? No, not yet. SPY selling off, SPY and gold dumping again. God, just when I was getting kind of bullish, man. All right, you know what? What time is it? Is it 1:15? God, is there not one of you who will say like, Justin, like, look, dude, could you just please stop rambling and look at more charts? You've been on Bitcoin for an hour and 15 minutes. Nobody is going to watch this back. You're going to get no views. Like I said, I do the show because I like it. Bitcoin dominance moving up. A lot of this is because the reason why it's not necessarily because Bitcoin is moving up. It's because people are selling out of altcoins and moving into Bitcoin or into stablecoins. So, no, sorry, just into Bitcoin. I forgot wrong dominance chart. But yes, individuals moving out of altcoins, moving into Bitcoin, and I would largely say that people are probably. No, I think it just depends. I don't have the numbers in front of me. We'd have to look at liquidity and volume, but I would say that there's a greater quantity of altcoins being bought than Bitcoin, but yeah, I don't want to get into that. Someone get this man a water. Yeah. Thank you, Damien. I'm gonna get it. So that's a good idea. Let me, this is a good time to just take a brief pause. When I come, I'm gonna go get some water. I need some water. I'm gonna get a body armor, by the way. I think we got one in the fridge. Yeah, baby. When I come back, we're going to take a look at the SPY, the two other big indices, the Dow and the NASDAQ, and we're going to look at gold and silver. We'll look at a few of your chart requests, and then I kind of want to get into the fundamentals of Bitcoin, and then I got to get out of here because we got the premium mentoring session at 2. So likely with all of that to cover, we'll be here until 2, but hey, it's okay, guys. So let's take a break. If you guys are, let's hop over here. All right. Prepare to get plugged, guys. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to smash up the like button. Check us out on the socials. Yeah, they popped over there. Don't worry, guys. I do this professionally. Check out the socials. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. Otherwise, sometimes we get shadow man. It happens. It's happening to everybody who does crypto stuff. And yeah, smash up the like, guys. I don't know where we're at. Did we get 50 likes yet? Come on. Somebody tell me. I'm not going to mess around with it. And if you guys are interested in building your own strategy and enjoying our services and products, then you guys can check out everything we do at premium.crackencryptocurrency.com, including our premium indicator sweep, our premium signal service, the historical results that you can see at results.crackencryptocurrency.com, our community mentoring, our one-on-one mentoring with our team of analysts, in addition to everything else that we provide. Our online trading academy, for example, I can't believe I forgot about that. It's only like I spent the last year of my life working on it. And much, much more. You guys can check that all out at premium.crackencryptocurrency.com. Link is in the description. And, of course, contractually obligated. What am I contractually obligated to talk about? Nothing. I have no contracts with people. All right, so we're going to play the Bybit ad because that's funny, and that gives me a quick breathing room to go get some water. And we'll be back in just a minute, guys. Talk amongst yourselves, get those chart requests ready, and let's see if we're going to fall off the face of the map here and invalidate. Not really anything I said, but let's just see if we fall off here. I want to be prepared because I want to get hedged if we're going to move down. So let's get going, guys. We'll be right back.
Can't catch a break over on BitMEX with all the wicks? Try a better alternative at buybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com and rest easy for a change.
Dump it. Dump it all. Just get rid of it. It's going to zero. Back to you. Back to you.
Oh yeah. No water. Rockstar recovery. I mean, I am a lucky boy today. You know, I never listen. So I don't. Not gonna lie. I have largely cut soda out of my life. I like rarely drink it, but I'll drink like a Coke once a week, once or twice a week, because I like it. And I don't drink these. I used to drink them like all the time, like 3 or 4 or 5 a day. Yeah, life's unhealthy sometimes. But sometimes people just randomly put them in my fridge, which is good stuff. So, anyways, let's get back to the charts, guys. So let's look at your requests and let's look at the majors before we look at the fundamentals of Bitcoin, and then off to mentoring. Yes, all work and no play makes me money. All right, SPY is down 0.01%. It is not dumping. Somebody get this man a water. Robert's seriously laughing out loud. People think I'm crazy. Cody Yo. Blue Box says, well, if you think this is a dump, you should look back at March. Yeah, I mean, you know, people were irrationally afraid last night. I'm not going to lie. Jason says this has to be an accident. No, I put it on like on purpose. I just wanted a little bit more filler content. We gotta get some more like filler stuff like that, bro. The Nasdaq's selling hard too. Yeah, the Nasdaq's up a little bit more. The price of Bitcoin is going to dump on stream very shortly. Peckham, I'm sorry, man. I love you, dude. I hope not. That means I'm going to get stopped out, which is okay. I've had a good month. You know, I had about, so just looking at my trades, you know, I've had just an amazing run over the last 3 months. And I probably like, so currently the number is I've given back about 5% of that so far where we're currently sit. If we move down more, kind of the max out might be 6 or 7, which is fine. Dice Enzo doing some dabs. All right, listen, we gotta get quick, man. Quick, fast, optimized, motivated. Let's do this together now. All right. All right, let's take a look here real quick. Let's take a look at overall altcoins. The altcoin perpetual futures on FTX on the daily, moving down, looking very similar to Bitcoin, formed a new high and a pullback. No lower low, no change in market structure, still a bullish trend. I would be looking to take this to the upside on a pullback. So again, I am still bullish, guys, looking for entries on pullbacks, and I think you guys should be too. We're getting some discounted prices. Maybe not as discounted as they're going to get. Maybe we need a few more days. Maybe the right thing to do is to wait later into the week. And we are going to have to be looking for that kind of reversal baseline bounce, reversal within the trend set up on Bitcoin. But I think you guys should be broadly applying that. At least I am, right? You do what you want. Broadly applying that to the rest of the markets. Pullbacks are good. All right. So that's all I want to look at there. Let's look at... Let's look at our indices here. So we're going to start off by looking at the DIA. This is the ETF of the Dow. Again, I am long on the DDM, which is it's a cheaper ETF that tracks the Dow, which I like. But certainly here's the spider on it. Here's the DIA. So we are in a bullish trend here. There's no exit signal. Our initiator or confirmer are nowhere near going negative. And let's see here. All right, we're going to go down to 10.8. All right. Well, I'll get stopped out at 10.6, or excuse me, 11.6, and buy 10.8. Maybe. Depends on what the strategy says. So I would be bullish on the SPY, or excuse me, on the Dow here. Above 270.91, that's when the trend would break to the downside. So we have some nice, tight, symmetrical contraction forming what most individuals are going to call a bull pennant. I quite like this. This is a good kind of breakout pattern to watch to the upside. All right, I see you, man. We might dump. I'm totally fine. I got you, bro. We got other markets we got to look at though. All right, let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ had a nice gap up to the upside today, putting in a harami today, inside bar. Generally, these are bearish. So just based on price action and candlestick analysis, I could see more of a pullback here on the NASDAQ. But we are in a bullish trend. The NASDAQ is a little overextended here. We can see that the IFT RSI is in overbought conditions. Let's see here. We just had the confirmer flip to the upside here because we had kind of pulled back on this sell-off, right? So you would, largely we've caught these trends on the NASDAQ. These last few, though, the indicators really haven't aligned, and that's okay. Like we've caught the meat of the trade, left the head and the tails to the reversal traders. So I don't see any action to take on the NASDAQ, nor would I be taking any of its derivatives, though. The SPY. Looking at the SPY, I do have long exposure to the SPY in small caps. I took PPSC. I'm long on that ETF. That trade's already done well. We're already in a no risk zone. We actually have not a bullish engulfing, but kind of a reverse harami. So the candle body close currently opened higher. Like, okay, let me zoom in on this. This is kind of a unique pattern. We have the candle body of the previous candle bullish. And it is smaller. It's inside, potentially, if we close lower, it's inside the body of the next candle, right? So it's like a reverse harami. And we have, this is also generally considered to be reversal. But we are in a bullish trend here. I don't see any exit signals. The SPY could pull back to 330, and I'd still be pretty bullish on this on the SPY here. So not really worried here. Don't really see signs of an imminent reversal. We certainly are stalling out. So maybe we are going to probably get some pullbacks for the rest of the week. It seems maybe it started in cryptocurrency. Now it's moving into equities, and that's fine. Like we'll take profits on our positions and then we'll just kind of reset and wait for the next wave. I would still largely, of course, we're in a bullish trend. So I'm waiting for pullbacks and we'll re-enter. Let's see. Interesting. Listen, great. If you guys aren't trading Forex, I'm not saying you have to. You don't need to. But I mean, we have had I've had some of the best Forex trades in my life this year. Aussie Kiwi, rode that all the way up. The Canadian yen, actually, I'm in. That one is, I've been in this one. This one's actually just now getting back into the profit. Same with the Swiss yen. The Euro Aussie, actually waiting on that one. That one's sideways. But let's go look at the biggers. The Euro Yen, we entered down here. That was great. The Pound Kiwi, I mean, we basically rode almost all of this. The Pound Yen, we rode almost all this trend. It's been great. The yen, excuse me, the Kiwi yen, good positions. So there's a lot of volatility, and keep in mind, I want you guys to understand this, like Bitcoin is a currency pair. So Bitcoin is more like, it should be more natural to a Forex trader than an equities trader, even though it trades with the volatility of equities. And you can certainly say that Bitcoin tracks the equities markets more often than it does not. But sometimes it's uncorrelated. You just have to look. There's a correlation coefficient. You can look for that if that is part of your edge, if that's part of your kind of fundamentals. This one's still super trend, blue box. Yeah. Yeah. This is a strategy that I run live. There's 3 others that I run live. There's only this one in the Donchian system on Forex. Those are the only 2 systems I'm running on Forex right now. So let's look at, okay, so we looked at, there's nothing really insane. Or what I do want to point out though on the, in Forex though, is I do want to look at the Dixie. And I've been talking about this for a while. A lot of people have, to be quite honest with you, because it's important. We're at a pretty important area with the dollar. And I'm not a reversal trader, but this is a pretty important area. And I think a lot of people do ignore especially when they trade Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is being traded against the dollar. So what's going on with the dollar matters, and people just ignore that. People, like a lot of cryptocurrency traders, just think like when they look at the Bitcoin chart, like, oh, this is just what Bitcoin's doing. No, it's what Bitcoin is doing relative to what's on the right side of the ticker. So if the dollar is weak, it's going to be easier for Bitcoin to move against it. So if the dollar is in a bearish trend and Bitcoin is bullish fundamentally and price is moving up, you can expect quite a bit of volatility. So you could maybe be more aggressive. You could look for wider take profits, things like that. These are all little nuanced things that you can do to improve the results of your trading as you gain experience and competence in the market. Okay, so you guys wanted to look at precious metals. Let's look at the CFDs. Current thoughts on gold. Listen, this isn't confirmed for me yet, right? But I've talked about this since Monday. I'm looking and concerned. I was concerned, and here we see it on gold. I was concerned about a lower high on gold. Okay. We seem to be seeing that today. And as I said on Monday, this might be the canary in the coal mine for me. Okay. So I have to sit here, and here's where I'm currently at with my mentality thinking about the market. I need to process this. I haven't come to a final determination about what to do. This concerns me. The lower high on gold does concern me. This was a pretty pivotal thing that I pointed out I was looking for on Monday. I think that this might signal that the markets are going to pull back in a more pronounced way. So strategy-wise, we're still in a bullish trend. I really need to wait for the trend to break until I begin trading to the short side. But I think what I'll likely do, if we end up closing this way, and I do need one more candle close for this. I need it to close this way, and I need something to open up. So it'll be tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow when I get to make my decision. The action that I'm likely to take is to just become more conservative and cautious for about a week or two, right? You know, I talked about a potential market crash event coming up at the beginning of September, as we move into Q4, because I think that potentially we will get, I think what is unfortunately likely to happen, something I'm worried about, is another wave of lockdowns and a resurgence of the coronavirus. Whether it's real or not, you know, this is something that concerns me, and some of the people that I trust and respect, they're concerned about it too. So things to be worried about. And then of course we have the elections coming up, and fundamentally we've got a real powder keg, guys. I was talking to my father about this, and you know, this is a really bad situation that the world has gotten itself in. And there's a lot happening at once. There's a lot of moving parts, right? And when you've got a lot of moving parts, and you've got a lot of fear, and you got a lot of anxiety, and you got a lot of anger, and you got a lot of tension, unfortunate things can happen. And it's very easy. Listen, here's the unfortunate thing. You guys can call me crazy or not, but this is reality. When you kind of have this situation, you know, people tend to think like, oh, well, the world will just go to hell. No, what tends to happen is that those in power tend to see that things are going crazy, and they're like, well, we're going to need something to distract people. Well, historically, that's been war. So I'm saying what I mean by that very specifically is whether or not the resurgence is let me be more clear. Whether or not the resurgence in coronavirus is as dangerous as predicted, right? You know, I don't want to sit here and debate the legitimacy of the coronavirus and its effect on health. You know, obviously we can debate, though, the actions of our leaders and our politicians, for example, with regards to their response to it, right? Because you have, you know, again, half of the world. I don't want to say half the world. There's differing opinions on the best response to this, right? And it's not an easy topic. I'm not qualified to answer the questions. I have my opinions, but I don't want to get into that. I don't have the time right here. We could be sitting here talking about this for hours. All I'm saying is that I know that some of our leaders around the world are trying to do their best job, and a good chunk of them are not. And so I'll just end on this. At the end of the day, guys, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. I have my predictions. I have my fears. I have my worries. I have my preparations. There's a lot of things that you can't control in life. What you can do is try to be prepared as much as you can. Try to simplify your life. Try to enjoy your life. Try to live for the things that you truly want. And kind of the more minimal you are, like if you guys look around, like I'm very minimal. Like I have very little stuff. I have what I want. I have what I need. And I can go get whatever I want if I happen to want something. And, you know, I can pick up sticks and move and do what I do anywhere I want to go. And again, I don't mean that to say, like, if you don't have that, you suck. A lot of you, it's totally fine. Like, I used to have a job. I used to be tied down. I used to, all these things. But, you know, freedom is something that's worth striving for. And, you know, there's nothing that's perfect in life. Just strive for as much freedom, liberty, and dignity as you can achieve in your life, and put yourself and just be in a state of preparation, right? Like, be prepared to be the one that can handle it. Like, you know, be the one that like when things go crazy, when things go down, when there's a situation, you know, there's a guy, right? Or there's a gal, there's the right person for that at the right time. And ideally, I would like to be that person as much as I can in my environment. So if you discipline yourself, if you prepare yourself, if you learn to live with less, if you learn to be disciplined, if you learn to be happy, like if you live for what you love, then you don't need a whole lot. Yeah. So just have a strategy, be prepared, protect the ones you love, and take things with a grain of salt. So anyways, let us go to Palladium. Yeah. So anyways, seeing a lower high here on gold, this concerns me. I'll likely be conservative and cautious if this closes and confirms. Potentially I'll do something with hedging. I kind of need to think more about it. Silver. All right, a little bit more bullish than gold here. I still think that silver has the possibility to appreciate here, even if gold goes down. So with silver, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive, but again, there's really nothing to be aggressive on. We are in a bullish trend, but I don't see an entry opportunity right here. We did form a lower high here and are currently moving down just as gold did, just in a different structure. We are still bullish above 23.57, currently trading at 26.82, below 23.57. We've been looking for shorts, but we're not there yet. So just a neutral zone with a bullish bias, nothing to do. Again, just pulling back largely in platinum, palladium, silver, and gold. Nothing really here to do. I don't see the incentive or the opportunity to short. I do want to see some significant levels taken out before I do that. Let's see how my natural gas trade is doing. Good. Got to get that natty gas on, guys. Let's see. HK, 33 HKD. Basically back at break even for me, unfortunately. And the Japanese index is one that I'm watching here in the form of CFDs. Yeah, the US 2000 is the only thing that's pushing up there. So we've got some confliction. We've got some contrary traders out there. People are pushing, guys. People are pushing. Yeah, people are pushing. It's a pivot point. It doesn't mean that we're going to reject. It just means that there certainly are traders who want to push price down. There's traders who want to push price up. So we kind of need to be patient, sit on the sidelines, be prepared, wait for a good objective exit signal or confirmation before you kind of jump on the train, right? Because right now you kind of got the bulls and the bears pushing at each other, and if you're not a whale, you don't want to be in that battle, right? So trade the directions that you're supposed to trade, manage your position sizes. You just be cautious this week. But again, I still have a bullish outlook. I think we could have a few more weeks. We do need to be cautious though, because I don't want to dive into a whole lot of positions. And this is what I kind of like about the reversal within the trend or the reversal baseline bounce setup, because the risk to reward ratio is really good. Like price is really low, you get close to the baseline, and if you do close below it, like say like you buy, and if you get another red candle, you're like, oh well, I was wrong, you know. Rather than like having to try and buy a top and then wait quite a bit to get told you're wrong, and then you've taken a larger loss. Good to see you, Mastache. How you seeing, my friend? What is a good hedge against Bitcoin dumps, other cryptos? Mr. D asks that. That's a good question. I mean, personally, the easiest thing to do is move into a stable coin, right? So me personally, I have no problem with US dollar tether. I've used US dollar tether a whole bunch. Yeah, so US dollar tether is what I would utilize and what I actively recommend for individuals who want to move into a stable coin. So I used to, and what I do is I use futures to hedge my account because I keep my stack in Bitcoin. I stack sats, and so I use futures. I use a leveraged short position to hedge my account. I use 1/3 of my trading capital, I deposit it, and I use a 3x short. That's how I do it. So I've always done it. And I have a lot of videos on how to do this actually in the Trading Crypto 101 playlist. And I used to like advocate that even for newer traders. But over the last year, I've seen a lot of people struggle with it. It's not easy to do. You do have to be disciplined. You have to have good capital management. You have to be good at math, and you have to be able to like see big numbers. You have to be able to take drawdown. And some people can't, especially, you will be able to. It's just more difficult when you're starting out. So I've revised my thinking. I realized that there's a different approach for different phases of trading experience. I think for newer traders, they should not do that just based on the difficulty that I've seen. You're welcome to try and I'll help you out as much as I can. But a stable coin, I think, is a far better alternative. Just move into a stable coin. It's something that you hold and buy back into Bitcoin when you want to. For those who are concerned about US dollar tether, in that case, I would recommend 50% like USDC, or you could split it up. You could do like 50% USDC, 50% DAI is very safe and stable. I would recommend that. And I understand that USDC is centralized and you also have the fear of blacklisting. But if you're not doing anything wrong, there's nothing like Circle is a legit company. They're not going to screw with you unless you are smuggling drugs or doing something illegal or buying stuff on the dark web. So if you're just trading, totally fine. USDC, DAI is very safe. But I also don't like having 100% exposure to the Ethereum network, right? So splitting it up, I think, is a good idea. Yeah, there's really not, there's going to be, every time the market dumps, there's always like a few obscure low sats that pump. And the reason why that is because you have liquidity on exchanges. You have, let's say, mini whales. They're kind of like mini whales on exchanges. And these are the kind of guys who run like pump and dump groups, and they run, like a bunch of shitty Telegram signal groups and like scams and stuff like that. They exist. They're out there, man. Like I know several of them, and I know like little covens of these like scumbags. So what they'll do like once in a while is when the market's dumping, they're like, okay, there's got to be an opportunity somewhere. So they've already accumulated some of these like low sat coins. Like they've already got a big bag of them, and they're trying to get a come up. So what they'll advise their people to do, or they'll just put signals out there, or they'll post on Twitter or whatever. Like they get social audience. They have a social audience. They'll say, hey, market's dumping, buy this, it's gonna pump. Like this is security, this is safety. So a lot of people buy it and it pumps, and that fills that dude's or that group's a bunch of limit orders. And so you'll always see this, like when the market dumps, often if you go to like crypto bubbles, you'll see something that's pumped like 200, 300, 500%, some obscure little low sat coin. There's always going to be those, but I don't recommend looking for those. Like it's a scam. You know what I mean? It's kind of like pump and dumps. Like, yeah, you can make some money if you're quick, but you don't have an edge, man. Like you just get lucky. Like there's no such thing as a free lunch out there, man. You just got to be good. You got to put work in, make money real low. Yeah, but stable coins, man, for sure. Just buy some stable coins and buy back into the market when it's good. That's the best thing to do. It's the easiest thing to do. All right, it's 1:43. All right, we got to start heading for the door here in a second. Whew, man. Okay, I got this. All right, we'll do this real quick. All right, give me 1 second, guys. We're gonna get prepared for the. I want to talk about some fundamentals here on Bitcoin. And man, this is long. I'm sorry I rambled so much, guys. I'm sorry I talked about the things that I wanted to talk about. Give me just a second here, guys. I'll be right back. All right, for today's cryptocurrency section, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and some longer term fundamentals. We're going to just kind of step back, get away from the charts for a second, and talk about what's really going on a deeper level, right? Like, are we going up or down? There's a lot we can look at, a lot we can think about, but let's get to the heart of the matter. So, ever since Bitcoin broke out over 10,000, things have been looking pretty bullish for the king of crypto. You know, the last few weeks of price action, we've managed to really rekindle the market's just kind of affection and love for the leading cryptocurrency. And, if we put another run at a new all-time high, this new run at a new all-time high is certainly firm on everyone's radar. But we have had a sharp pullback to below 12,000. That's shaken out a few of the Bitcoin faithful. And some are worried about the assault on 14,000 and has the bull run been called off? 2 red candles and we've called off the run. So today, I want to bring you guys a bit of comfort food for thought on why Bitcoin's fundamentals are long-term bullish, why we are still macro bullish, even if we have a correction, even if we have a pullback, and strong sentiment are still very much in play. And this week's correction could turn out to be a very, very good buy the dip opportunity. So let's take a look at the first article that we were able to find today. This is coming from Cointelegraph on why a critical mass of long-term hodlers would make the concept of 100,000 Bitcoin inevitable in the long run, even though the dollar is going to go to zero. But anyways, this piece is based on a recent tweet from Michael Goldstein. He's a pretty old school Bitcoin bull, very active in the community, in which he pointed out that most Bitcoin that is out there in circulation today is already priced at $100,000 or as much as $10 million even. Okay, so let's go to his tweet. If that sounds crazy, let's break this down. Okay, so stay with me here. According to this crypto commenter, who goes by the name Bitstein, follow this guy on Twitter, he's good. Determining Bitcoin's real value is more complicated than just a cursory glance at the current market price. So this tweet reads that, quote, most Bitcoins already cost at least 100,000, but probably more like 10 million. So while Bitcoin is hanging out to dry below $12,000, many hodlers and Bitcoin bulls have their sights set much higher. As Bitstein points out, if someone buys a Bitcoin at $10,000, but is unwilling to sell it until the asset reaches $100,000, then the price tag of that Bitcoin is naturally much higher than its current market value. It's never going to be sold unless that price is met, because Bitcoin is unconfiscatable. So if the holder of that Bitcoin is unwilling to sell it unless it's 100,000, it is natural to assume the price of that Bitcoin is $100,000 because that's the only way it's coming out of that wallet. So this begs the question, right? How many Bitcoin are stashed away right now? That's never going to see the light of day until at least the $100,000 price level, right? This would have an interesting effect on supply and demand, which affects market price. Late last year, the blockchain analytics firm Rhythm published this tweet, and they pointed out how much of the Bitcoin in circulating supply is effectively locked away. It is not being moved, sold, or traded. Indeed, their updated analysis showed that 64% of Bitcoin's circulating supply remains in the same wallets that it's been in since 2018, and highlights the dedicated nature of investors who are not going to sell under any circumstances until the price appreciates to moon landing levels of mission success. If you think Link holders have strong hands, buddy, Bitcoin baby. Now, Goldstein, aka Bitstein, he insisted that many of Bitcoin's largest bag holders value the asset between $100,000 and $10 million per Bitcoin. And these sort of valuations are very much in line with a variety of popular price predictions from various authorities over the years, such as Plan B's stock to flow model that puts Bitcoin's price tag at 6 figures by the middle of this decade. And as speculative and daydreamy as this may sound, we have to acknowledge how many among the Bitcoin faithful, including us here on the show and those in our community, are convinced we are taking Bitcoin to new all-time highs soon. And eventually, even $1 million of Bitcoin is very much a valuation that is on the mind of those whose imagination has been captured by the promise of cryptocurrency technology. This is inarguable. And we have a number of high-profile cheerleaders in the space that help propagate this bullish narrative. And this includes the likes of Max Kaiser, famous Bitcoiner and sound money advocate. Back on March 5th, he talked about, he predicted that Bitcoin is going to explode to $100,000 by the end of the year. And that was based on the knock-on effects of the COVID pandemic and related stimulus measures, of course, the money printer go burr, shall we say. And there's a number of other notable personalities across the industry who predicted a $100,000 Bitcoin at some point. These include Morgan Creek Digital's co-founder Anthony Pompliano, the Bitcoin stock the flow model creator Plan B, and even the Blockstream CEO Adam Back, among many others. Again, all individuals that are not dummies. Now, I want to take a look at this next article, which highlights some of Glassnode's latest research into on-exchange deposits of Bitcoin. Now, slightly more than 2.6 million Bitcoin is currently being held on cryptocurrency exchanges. This, again, according to Glassnode's data, which they cite in this recent tweet. Let's see if we can find the tweet. Yeah, it's right here. Oh, shoot. There's a link that I need. Shoot, I don't have the link, guys. That's all good. So, indeed, Bitcoin held on deposit at centralized exchanges has been steadily declining since March. And they've recently hit their lowest levels since at least November 2019. Now, Bitcoin hodlers typically send or hold their Bitcoin on exchanges in order to convert it into volatility-free stablecoins, such as Tether, or get into altcoins in pursuit of larger gains to eventually move back into Bitcoin. But according to Glassnodes, they found that historically, Bitcoin's price takes a hit when the number of coins kept on exchange wallets reaches new highs. This makes sense. You don't send your Bitcoin to an exchange to buy, right? You send your Bitcoin to an exchange to sell it for something. So if Bitcoin is flowing out of exchanges, not a whole lot of selling. With Bitcoin being continually withdrawn from these exchange platforms, it hints that bag holders are strapping in for the long term. I certainly am. And we're preparing for an inevitable blast off in the price to come. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's next month, maybe it's the end of the year. But previous peaks in exchange deposits, one weekly email can change your life? Oh my God. One email. Previous peaks in exchange deposits happen to coincide with big corrections in Bitcoin's price. Glassnodes highlights July 2019, when exchange deposits hit a high of 2.85 million coins. And it preceded a 41% decline in Bitcoin's price over the next 2 months. You guys remember July 2019. Whoop, boom. Now, breakout, rejection. And earlier this year, a similar scenario played out immediately ahead of the Black Thursday market meltdown. Exchange deposits climbed to 2.9 million Bitcoin before Bitcoin dumped 51% over a period of 24 hours. So even though this particular case was primarily driven by the market-shaking black swan event known as the coronavirus, it does demonstrate how there can be a correlation between holding sentiment, what's sitting on exchanges, and what price will set up to do next. Direct correlation. Now, there's also an added benefit to holding your Bitcoin off of an exchange, which also warms the heart of security-minded Bitcoin maximalists like me. It's me. Many of us advocate for a proof of keys approach to your digital asset holding. This is also known as not your keys, not your coins. And this we recommend not trusting your Bitcoin in the custody of third parties. Why would you do that? This is your digital gold. Now, while disasters like Mt. Gox and the billion-dollar Bitfinex hack seem to be largely behind us, and the industry as a whole has, I'm not going to lie, we've really stepped up security and trust standards among the major exchanges. You cannot discount the possibility of a black swan event in the form of a hack or security breach that could implode even a large exchange platform like Coinbase, Kraken, Binance. They could all go down. So all of this off-exchange hodling has an added benefit because it helps protect you from an unforeseen disaster striking out of the blue when we least expect it. Still, if you thought all this Bitcoin being held off exchanges means that there's less activity as a whole on the Bitcoin network, you would be mistaken. At the same time that Bitcoin users are withdrawing their holdings from exchange platforms. The number of active Bitcoin wallets has continued to climb to a new yearly high, averaging more than 1 million active addresses per day. So investors are still stacking and moving their Bitcoin around on the regular. They're just doing it without involving the custody of centralized exchanges, which is a good trend for our industry. Like, it's a very good trend for our industry. Oh my guys. I want to try and get these links. Oops. Tom W's. Thanks for the sub. I don't have the... Oh, maybe it's, yeah. They got overwrote. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. All right. Let's see here. A few more points, and then I promise I'll stop. So, if you need another confidence booster that Bitcoin is in fact on a bullish trajectory, we have. Yeah, I gotta get the links. Hold up. Sorry. Trying, guys. We're professionals here. Midwest is like, tell your friends about us. I love you, bro. We got to hurry for the community mentoring session coming up in just a few minutes. If you're a premium member watching and you're going to be attending the community mentoring session, I apologize. The stream on YouTube is running a little bit longer. Probably have about 5 more minutes of content. We'll go ahead and start the community mentoring session at 2:15. So if one of the staff's watching, if you guys can make an announcement in the Discord, I appreciate that. All right. It seems like I am somewhat... thank you very much, sir. My man. 1, 2, 3. Here it is. All right. Sorry, I wanted to talk about this article right here. We do have this article right here that points out the Google Trends data. And this indicates that there is a massive increase in cryptocurrency specific searches on Google. Terms like buy crypto, buy Bitcoin, buy Chainlink, and DeFi. A review of Google Trends data shows that over the last 2 weeks alone, search volumes for some of these terms have downright exploded. Like, for real. Let's go look at some of these charts. Here we go. So the buy... Oh, is this the same? Anyways, the buy Bitcoin query dropped off sharply after the halving event in May. But the latest Google Trends data shows that it has picked up dramatically again in late July. So we did see a little bit of, a drop in interest, but they've exploded. Okay. Yeah, Jack, when you do the edit, you're going to have to swap out. I had the wrong article up for one of that, but you got this. All right, so finally, I want to talk about, an article. I don't have it right here, but an article that Bloomberg's research arm put out. Mike McGlone, senior commodity strategist. He works at Bloomberg's intelligence. He had some reassuring words for us in the Bitcoin community. This week's price pullback, be damned, he said. He says it would take something unexpected to stop the juggernaut that is Bitcoin, since demand for and adoption of Bitcoin has kept growing for a decade now, while Bitcoin's supply is limited to 21 million coins. It's hard to get stronger words than that, guys. And if you needed a reminder why Bitcoin is the killer 21st century asset to hold, or a quick reference when someone asks you over Sunday dinner why you invest in Bitcoin, well, there is a tweet from the VanEck strategist and analyst Gabor. I always say his name wrong. Gabor Gurbax. You guys should be familiar with him. And he lists that Bitcoin has some amazing critical attributes. It is not issued by a sovereign. The trust utilizing it is minimalized. It has a scarce and limited supply. It's censorship resistant. It's electronic. It's programmable. It's immutable, and it's portable. It's also open source, pseudonymous, peer-to-peer, decentralized, hard to confiscate. Properties for a better form of money that we haven't seen before. So if you guys needed a booster shot, a little bit of Bitcoin hopium, there you go. At the end of the day, listen, technical trader, we're going to follow the trends. We're going to make the best strategic decisions that we can. But I will be the first person to tell you this. Buy and hold Bitcoin. It has been the best long-term strategy, period. If you want to get those huge gains, the big numbers, you get those from investment, right? If you want to make money now and earn a living as a free man, you can be a trader. And we're very good at teaching you how to do that. You can join our community to learn that. But if you want to cross the finish line, if you want to get those ridiculous crypto gains, you got to buy and hold. You got to sit on your hands. You got to think long term. You got to think strategic, right? And listen, guys, at the end of the day, I've been doing this for a long time. And I have more faith, more confidence, more conviction in my decision to invest, to buy into, to accept and adopt Bitcoin than I did when I started. I continue to grow in my love of cryptocurrency, man, in my love of Bitcoin, and my knowledge of Bitcoin, and my knowledge, in my analysis that this is the tool that we need right now to solve the problems. Thank you, guys. Let me know your comments in the section down below. Why are you bullish on Bitcoin? And what is your price prediction? Really, not really what's your price prediction. What is your plan? How long have you been in Bitcoin? Why did you get into Bitcoin? And what is it about Bitcoin that you like the most? Like, why are you in the space? Let me know. With that being said, guys, I'm sorry that we couldn't do live Q&A or more chart requests. I just waxed loquaciously so much. Like, somebody show this guy up. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I've been your host, Justin Wise. Make sure to join us in the Discord, discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Links in the description. It's the best place to be to grow as a trader and as a member of the community. Woo! If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to smash the like button. 100 likes, we can get there. Absolutely helps us out more than you possibly realize. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on all notifications if you want to bypass the shadow ban here on YouTube. And if you're on DLive or Twitch, you can support us with a follow or subscription. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time to break down the markets, to give you guys an update on our positions. You can see all of our historical trading results at results.crackingcryptocurrency.com, and you can review all our products and services at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com, including our premium signal service, mentoring, community, and personal one-on-one mentoring, our premium indicator suite, and our online trading academy. So much more. Indeed, come become a member of our community. We'll be back tomorrow. If you guys have any comments, leave them in the section down below. Death threats are allowed. And listen, guys, relax, breathe deep. Everything's going to be all right. Enjoy the pullback. Be cautious, be prepared, have a plan. But be ready. Be ready, guys. Trade safely, make your own decisions, do your own research. I will see you guys tomorrow. Be good.